Hi there, JW Leary students. It's Mr. Oliver. I'm making this video on Thursday afternoon for Friday morning, and I'm finally going to reveal the winner of the Guess Who JW Leary Staff Edition game. And I'll go through the slides right now before I tell you who the winner is, so you can put a name with all of the faces, which ought to be fun. So let's go through these really quickly so you know who was who. This one right here, just so you know, this was Mrs. McGowan, grade 8 ELA teacher if you haven't met her yet. Next one up is Mrs. Robidoux. You should be able to see that pretty cleanly right there. This is Mr. Caffarella in 7th grade. This one is the one everybody got right, Mr. Booth, because he looks exactly the same still. This is Mrs. Jaggers in special education. This, of course, was me. Nice hair. This is Miss Ashley in art. Um, this is our custodian, Mr. Kingsley. This is, I don't know what this is, but the person is Mr. Zaza in social studies. This is Mrs. Curran Paller, who you may have seen around the building. This one right here is Mr. Draper from Bandland. This is 8th grade ELA teacher, Mrs. Charlson. This, if you didn't get this one, it was scary. This is Mr. C, 8th grade math. This is Mrs. LePrad, one of our teacher aides and works in our ISS room. This is Mrs. Lang, our reading teacher. This is Mrs. Witten when she was a little girl out in front of Messina Central School Bus. This was one I struggled with. This is Mrs. Page. This one I did not struggle with. This is Mrs. Goodrich. This is Mrs. Hayes from Health in 8th grade. This is our beloved school nurse, Mrs. Gilman. This is 8th grade math teacher, Mrs. Emerson. This is one of our teaching assistants, Mrs. Fryman. This is one of our other assistants, Mrs. Greco. This is Mr. Crigliano. You can't tell that. It's funny. And I hope he's got a permit for these guns he's carrying around right here. So that's Mr. Crigliano. This couldn't be anybody other than our counselor, Mrs. Zaza. Next up is one of our teachers, Mrs. Travis, who is also a rocker, it looks like. This is Mrs. Benham. Next one up was one I struggled with. This is Mrs. Frome from ELA. Next is Mrs. Taylor, our Spanish teacher. The next one is Mrs. Hull, one of our science teachers. This is a great look on her face down here, by the way. This is Mrs. McClear, and last but not least is our librarian, Mrs. Smith, who you can really see right there. And that is all, folks. Thank you, everybody that played. I hope you had some fun while you did it. We do have a winner. No student got them all right. The winning student got 27 of the 32 pictures right, which means they only got 5 wrong, and that's pretty impressive because I think I got 5 wrong when I did them the first time. And the winner of the student competition for the Guess Who game is Caitlin Benham. She got 27 of 32 right and will be the winner of a $20 Tim Hortons gift card from me. Just in case you're curious, the staff played this game as well, and one person got them all right. The winner for the staff was Mr. Kingsley. I hope everybody had a great week, enjoyed some of that warm weather this week. If you need anything, let me know, and I'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks. Bye. How do I get out? I always forget how to get out of here. Wait, there it is. Right, I figured it out. Bye bye.